Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. You've heard about this COVID thing, haven't you? Do you know about the new COVID relief bill? Under this bill, every individual is to receive $600. Family of 5 would get $3,000. Only it looks like it's not going to happen. Oh, but then it does look like it might happen. Last week, both the House and the Senate signed off on a relief bill that would give individuals earning up to $75,000 a year a $600 payment per person. Couples earning up to $150,000 a year would get $1,200. Family of 4 would get $2,400. Individuals earning more than $99,000 a year, you're on your own. Now the whole thing's in jeopardy. President Trump didn't like the pork that was stuffed into the bill. You want to know what the pork was? Check out the video that came just before this one. The rundown of this week's events. This seemingly fake pandemic is creating all sorts of complications. I say seemingly fake because more and more the evidence is pointing to a U.S. effort to create coronavirus. I don't mean in the newspaper, on the news, and I'm talking about in the scientific community. We're being told that the U.S. Center for Disease Control filed for a patent on something called coronavirus. They did that in 2003. It's listed in something called stateofthenation.co, January 2020. You do know you can't get a patent on a disease, right? The patent number is 7220852B as in boy 1. Its patent date is May 22nd, 2007. Dr. Ralph Barrett, North Carolina University, had been working on it since 1999. Inventors trying to create a disease. The inventors listed are all from Georgia. That's apparently where the college is, the research lab. And from the document itself, under the heading Priority Claim, April 25, 2003, we read, quote, "This invention was made by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, an agency of the United States government. Therefore, the U.S. government has certain rights in this invention," end of quote. Now, this invention relates to a newly isolated human coronavirus. More particularly, it relates to an isolated coronavirus genome, isolated coronavirus proteins, and isolated nucleic acid molecules encoding the same. The disclosure further relates to methods of detecting a severe acute respiratory syndrome-associated coronavirus and compositions comprising immunogenic coronavirus compounds. A lot of technical talk. But here's what's going on. A newly isolated human coronavirus has been identified as the causative agent of SARS and is termed SARS-CoV. COV. You want the URL? Email me, thebibleforum@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you. It's that long with a lot of letters and numbers and flashes, and you'll get it. Now, I'm told that if you have a legal patent on a product, it must be a manufactured product. Not a manufactured product, you don't get a patent. This thing has a patent. The patent makes it legal. A legal disease. Think about that. A biological weapon? Yeah, according to something called biological weapons in international law, that's what it would be characterized as. The U.S. Center for Disease Control filed a patent for coronavirus in 2003. Dr. Ralph Barrett, North Carolina University, working on it since 1999. Apparently, the CDC controlled the rights and the measurement of this whole thing with 100% cash flow that built the empire we now know as the Indus, I-N-D-U-S, Indus complex of coronavirus. The CDC patent controls who can test it, who can measure it, who can develop the test kit for it. The patent keeps others from looking into it. So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at the means, the motivation, and the money. Sound familiar? That's the genesis of a crime. However, in 2012-13, federal funding became impaired by the National Institute of Health, so corona testing was required to pause. Apparently, however, at the bottom of the page, it calls a pause something that is voluntary. The increased heat from the government drove the research offshore. Where did it go? It went to Wuhan, China. According to the Daily Mail, our government paid the Wuhan lab $3.7 million to do the research on bats. These bats came from caves where the disease is believed to have originated. And our government paid a number of organizations that then funded this particular research, allowing them to blame China for the problem. All this under the heading, wealth corrupts. And absolute wealth corrupts absolutely. The Trump administration apparently had no idea what was going on until the pandemic hit. Then came the internal investigations that revealed our complicity. And a news industry that has completely ignored the whole thing. Why? Well, it happened on a Democrat watch. Had Trump done any of this, the whaling would have begun long ago. Oh, and almost 700,000 people have been driven into poverty by the COVID lockdown. What appears to be a deliberate result. Why? Could it be to usher in a great reset? The Bible talks about stuff like that. Nobody believes it much. How about you?